Okay, hot topic in the Marvel mobile gaming world. It's a very debated topic right now, and I think primarily because a lot of people that currently play Marvel Strike Force, the content creators, the streamers, are heavily dipping into Marvel Future Revolution. So that brings us to the topic, is it fair to compare? And first off, let's just get straight to the point. Yes and no, which I know that's... they're, the two things they have in common, they're both Marvel games, they're both mobile games. But other than that...
That's about where the comparison stops.
Yeah, they're wildly different games beyond that. The systems in place to how you level, composition of character, just everything is wildly different. One is a turn-based game where you're primarily in teams, and the other one is when you are playing a single character. So first let's start off. Gingy, how long have you been playing Marvel Strike Force? Just for some context.
Oh, I think it was
Probably a month after me.
a month or two before we started streaming.
So you're over a year.
Just barely.
Yeah. And okay, let's next thing. Let's how many accounts have you been running since you've played?
In total, I think I have 4 accounts. But I only play one of them, and sometimes a second, which is the second one is my original account, and sometimes I play that one.
And why has it come? So at one point you were running all of them though.
Yeah.
So why? What is it that makes you not play all of them now?
For me personally,
Yeah.
I don't think that there's enough to like justify like the time that the time that you can play the game doesn't justify having multiple accounts.
Okay.
Like there's too many time
Yeah, yeah.
bottlenecks.
There's a lot of bottlenecks in the game for sure. Okay, so I've been playing a little bit longer than you. I got you playing. And as far as spending, you've been everything from cheap to play to free to play. Really?
Yeah.
For the most part. And myself, I've mega cracked in. So we have two perspectives here. We have somebody that spent on some of his counts no money, where he has tried to be tactical in how he grinds, meticulous on how he does everything in relation to knowing he doesn't spend money. He's had another account where there were particular characters that he wanted bad enough that he spent a little bit of money. Like I think you bought Iceman or something, didn't you?
Yeah, I spent money on Iceman, and I spent money on, what was it? It wasn't Jubilee. I think it was the Legendary before Jubilee.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so when's the last time you logged into Marvel Strike Force?
It's been over a week.
So here's the thing too. If you don't log in a week, you get auto booted from your alliance. So you probably hop around your alliances. And coming from my perspective, that's one of the things that gets to me more with Marvel Strike Force. And this isn't a Marvel Strike Force bash fest. I don't want it to be that. However, we have to. I think comparing these games is apples and oranges. However, we have to talk about why these comparisons keep happening.
Yeah.
And it ultimately it boils down to how much fun we're having. Now, first thing, let's look at things comparatively. Free to play on Marvel Future Revolution. Right now, we're running a Black Widow that we've dropped no money on, and we're collectively, because we want to make content, so we're leveling this Black Widow. Okay, so we want to, we're figuring out build synergies. Black Widow is known as one of the better characters in the game, in certain game modes in Marvel Future Revolution. So my main is an Iron Man. That's the character I wailed on. So you ask yourself, your Black Widow is free to play. Does that make it more difficult to get into the high level content? It does not at all. has not affected us. Now, does it give you advantage to spend money? Yeah, it does, but not enough to justify the means necessarily. You do get a return on spending money, but playing a little harder gets you where you want to go.
Yeah.
In Marvel Future Revolution. So here's one thing. For a free-to-play player in Marvel Future Revolution, it takes about, if you're playing hard, probably takes you about 3 days to get a character. 3 days of grinding could get you 3 to 4. We'll say that 3 to 4 days of grinding can get a free-to-play player up to 100, and then you can play with your friends at that level.
With the huge caveat, if you are vigilant.
Yeah.
You have to be vigilant.
Okay. And then on the other side, let's say if someone started a new account and started playing Marvel Future Revolution, you could also play with your friends because you could make an alt and then go play with them that way. So you could play on the low level game and still play with them.
Yeah.
So you either a few days of grinding and you have a character where you are now playing in the highest level content in the game, or vice versa, where if I want to play with you from day one, I can make a low level alt and go play with you.
Yeah.
So with Marvel Strike Force, free-to-play players, new players, how long would it take you to play with your friends if you have a friend that's been playing for a while?
Let me add this. I do not believe I have any intention of catching up to you.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's possible.
Okay.
Like without another year of playing. If I'm free
And
to
even
play,
then,
if I'm free to play, I'm not going to catch up to you. It's that simple.
And okay, so we were talking about 3 to 4 days, we said, for a free-to-play player to grind up to level 100.
Yeah.
So for a Marvel Strike Force new player to play with their friend that's been playing for X amount of time, so that means, let's say you started the game today and I was level 100. You put in those 3 to 4 days and now you are playing with me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter really that much. The game's early, and a lot of people have called Marvel Future Revolution the shiny new toy, and then that's why it's getting the attention it's getting. However, though he puts in his time, he can now play with me. If I had 2 months, technically he could still play with me. Yeah. You're still level 100. I'm still level 100. I may have some better gear. I may have a head start in some things, but we still can play the same content together.
At the end of the day, even the gear situation isn't that different. Like you think about it, like if say we play this for 2 months and the game hasn't had a global release yet, you're going to be capped at the best gear that you can get. Imagine if I had all of the time that I needed to get all the best gear I can get, and there's no difference.
Yeah. So then we talk about Marvel Strike Force. You could play 2 years. So in the 3 to 4 year or 3 to 4 day example to catch up to play with me in Future Revolution, you could play 3 to 4 years and still not be able to play with me in Strike Force as a free to play player. Yeah. There's maybe not. You may never see the end game where all the top players are. And okay, so we've touched on the free to play. Now let's flip the script and let's go to whaling or krakening in some. If you were to spend, you were to drop $1,000 today on Marvel Future Revolution, it would be helpful. You would gear up a character, and that it's whatever.
Yeah, you would get to the same place a free to play would get to, just in a quicker amount of time.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep. Okay. Now let's say $1,000 on Marvel Strike Force.
That's a different story.
So on a 5-man team, $1,000 will probably max out one of those characters and get you where you need to go. So now you're talking about potentially you will have dropped thousands of dollars on a single team. And let's say in war you need potentially 18-ish, depending on where you're at in the game, 18-ish teams in war. What's that math? 90? Is that what it is? 90 characters that you would have to have. And let's double down on this. So we're just talking about we've already, so if you're free to play, you can catch up to me and play with me without without spending any money, regardless of how much I spent.
Yeah.
So Strike Force, if you want to catch up to me today to play with me in Marvel Strike Force, if you dropped $20,000 into the game right now, you still wouldn't catch me.
No.
You still could not play with me. You would need all the right offers to line up. You would need all the right things you couldn't go into the store and get everything you need to be even remotely close to me in this game. And that's pretty wild to think about. Like, yowza. The other thing is when we talk about game modes, and so in Marvel Strike Force, we have these game modes. So first you have challenges. And I'm going to go through them really, really quickly. And we're just going to kind of, we're going to gloss over them super quickly and just talk about, on a scale of 1 to 10, for context, how much fun they are. So challenges are just, you do them once and then you auto them. After you complete said challenges in the game, there's these things.
It's a button you click.
It's just a button you click. It's not really, it almost feels weird to label it as giving it a rating. It's a 1 or a 2. It's not really even a game mode.
Yeah.
So Arena, you get to do this 5 times per day. It is on a timer. Between those times you can do it. So you can't just log in and do it your 5 times in a row. You will have to do it once, and then come back to it however much time later, then do it again, come back to it. So okay. For the sake of moving through this quickly, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give that Arena for how much fun it is?
3. Or I'll go 4, because it comes with the caveat of if you get to the top, you have bragging rights, and that's cool.
Fair. Will co-sign, also a 4. Also, I agree with you. 100% agree with you. Now, this is just us being fair. Yeah. This isn't us purposely pooping on. This is us calling a duck a duck.
Yeah, trust me, there's modes in this game that I really, really like that I'd probably give an 8 or a 9.
Okay. So let's cruise over to the next campaigns. Campaigns are one of these things. There's heroes, villains, Nexus. You can go on and on. There's all these different, and they all need different character requirements to play with them. After you complete any of these nodes in here, you can auto them. You never have to play them again. I have not played a campaign mission in I don't know how long. So again, it feels weird to give this a fun factor because once you complete it, you never play it again. You don't actually play in that node. As soon as you 3-star it, which means you finish the node without a character dying, it's like you had a flawless victory. You can auto it. You never have to play it again. Yeah. So again, it's another game mode where it's like, I don't know whether to call this fun or not, because it's not really a game mode once you finish it once. But we have to, for the sake of have to. Yeah. Go ahead. Scale 1 to 10. Say whatever is on your mind.
3, at most. 1, and I only give it a 3 because the only game mode part about it, after you've completed stuff like that, is you go back and you do things if you need a character that is on a node and you hope for a good RNG. Yeah. And that can get frustrating, but it's fun sometimes.
Yeah, I even have to go lower. I'm going to give it a 2. It's really, I hate to use unintelligent words like it's dumb but it feels like a silly thing to even have. It's not a fun game. I don't even know what the intent behind it is. Okay, moving on. There's Blitz. This is a daily thing where you go through and you use different teams for your save squads, where you go through and you use these teams just for the sake of the video. You go through and you use all of these teams once. It's also on a timer, so it's not like you can go bonkers and play this. Let's say you loved blitzing, you just loved it. It is also on a timer where you need to use a resource. Let's say you gave it a 10 and you love Blitz, you are trapped behind a resource you must use to continue to play it. So what it comes down to at the end of the day, here's the other thing. Again, they have added an auto feature where you can auto it. There's literally a simulation button in this that they put in the game months ago. So when if this is clicked and you hit battle, I click this button, so I don't ever play. I'm somebody that I argued, and a lot of people, because this mode used to feel so grindy that people loved this new sim button. I was one of the few people that said, I don't like it because it's another reason that I don't play the game. I don't actually get on these teams. Now, do you have the option to get on and play them? Yes, but it doesn't math out, so it makes no sense to do if you're looking at utilizing your time properly. It doesn't make any sense. You can literally click a button and play it. So again, it's another game mode. You don't play any longer. You don't play it. You don't play it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give Blitz?
Before Sim, 5. After Sim, 2.
I got a cosign on that too. And it's funny because people love Sim, and that should scream something to you. If people love Sim, which is preventing you from actually playing the game, what? What? So you cheer for a button that makes it so it's taking a game mode out because it's so grindy and not fun in the first place. Originally it was a 5, which means it wasn't knocking it out of the park. But for me, blitzing used to be my one feeling of the day where I played all of the different teams and I got to control them and play them and use them. I think I even give it, before the sim button, maybe a 6. I felt like I was playing the teams I built up, and I built this roster up specifically to use these teams. And now the sim button has made it so that feels like a waste of time. But simming your blitz is a 2. It's dumb. It's not meant to be fun. So far we're not even on anything that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Now Alliance War. Alliance War, to me, finally we have something to talk about that I can co-sign on. Alliance War is actually fun for me. I'll let you start this out because I'm passionate about this game mode. So I'll let you. How do you feel about Alliance War?
I'm not in any great alliance like ever, as far as power scaling goes.
Yeah.
I love Alliance War.
Oh, okay.
One because it gives the alliance a reason to work together. And that's the only thing that it happens, that in raids. That's the only time your alliance works together.
And you don't actually play together where you can physically see it, but
it delegate.
does feel as though there's some cohesion that's going on between you guys, coordinating attacks, which path you're going to take, with what rooms are marked, and it is War is the one and only game mode where there is emotion, fun, enjoyment tied to it. However, this is the thing. However, this isn't a game mode that you get to play every day. It is also incredibly limited. And it isn't a game mode that feels like it's refined and leaned into. Even though it's the most fun game mode in the game, you would think it'd be supremely dialed in it, because they have to know for us, it's the one, especially in the high end of the game, the thing we look forward to. You play this 3 times a week. They last for 24 hours. They can be incredibly intrusive to play War, because wars start. A lot of alliances have a requirement. You have to be on at start. Here's the other thing. When War does start and you can play, you are behind a wall of you can only attack 2 times, and there's typically anywhere from 2 to 4 potential places that you can go, unless you're double digging in War, 2 to 4 potential times that you can attack. And if all 24 people are playing, if they're on right and they're doing your War is going as intended, you have to sit and wait. So you're sitting there waiting for a chance to go, and and even if a chance comes up, it has to be the right attack. There's a lot of nuances here. And then you can play 2 attacks, 2, unless you spend a resource. And then this resource that you have to get out of the Blitz store, you have to be diligent about hoarding this resource in preparation for the next war. And then, let's say you do so. Let's say you crush that and you have all the resources you need for that war, and then you if that's the case, you get 6 attacks, and then energy drops soon after those 6 attacks, and you can get a 7th. Mm-hmm. So at that point, let's say you do that and you get 6 to 7 attacks in it, and you had a blast doing that. It's 1 hour of an hour and a half of enjoyable gameplay. You had fun. Then it is 3 hours and 40 minutes until you get to use your next attack. 3 hours and 40 minutes. And then it's over the course of 24 hours at this. It's highly intrusive. And it's a bummer. This mode should have things like theater mode. So I can watch other people. So from a defensive proposition, when you set up your defensive teams, you don't even have a way. So one of the most pronounced teams that came out recently, besides Infinity Watch, was Heroes for Hire, which was supposed to be this mega defensive team that you put a lot of resources, you build them up. You don't even get to watch them defend. You only see a blinking little red light, and then you see the outcome when they're done. There's no...
You see a little dot and you go, oh, please let me win. And you don't even get to see it.
And then the other oversight that I think is wild is that since war is the most fun game mode, there should be something war-like to do between wars. Their war thing to do is to try to use your blitz credits to get more attacks and deflects. Other than that, you don't really do anything until the next war. So you have this 24-hour span, and if you're at the high end, that's 36 hours between next war because you're full clearing in 12 hours. So that 36 hours, you're not even playing the most fun thing in the game. So the other thing that they're missing is a danger room or a testing facility. They can either call it danger room like the X-Men called it, or it can be shield testing facility where you can attack your teammates' defenses and do testing. It can be a free resource, something you can do where you can set up theory craft, play with your defenses, and in the history tab, that is usually for when a war is live, the history tab could stay up and you could still see what alliance mates attacked your defenses, how well they did, if they clear. Oh my gosh, you used symbiotes to clear Heroes for Hire. How did you do that? That's impossible. And you can talk about it. And then maybe you try it. You attack your own defense. Wow, that's a crazy punch up. I didn't know that was possible. They really, there's so many things they could do with war to make it better. And again, this is the other thing that kind of is a feels bad thing with Marvel Strike Force is you know they should do it. You think that they know they should do it as well, but it never happens, and it's weird. It's like, why, if you know that this is the most fun game mode, why aren't you continuously through R&D, research and development? The bugs are abound in the game throughout. There's bugs in war all the time. They're not even proactive about fixing the bugs, yet the best game mode is not ever being enhanced, made better. There's supposed to be big war changes coming to the game soon, but the game's been live for, 3 years? And this is finally coming. And from what I've heard of it, I don't feel like it's going to make it better. It's going to be another way to get money. That's what, just instinctively, I always think everything's going to be about making money. So we beat on the war horse enough. Let's go down.
War is your baby. I totally understand.
Okay, so now let's go down to the next thing, which is alliance raids. Hoo boy. Another thing I'm also passionate about, but not in a good way. And it's funny to hear me rant about something I love. I love war. Alliance raids are another thing that are supposed to make you feel like you're playing with your alliance mates, and you don't actually really play with your alliance mates. It's kind of something you do where you play with. But again, this is a highly intrusive. You cannot take time off from the game. Let's say I had a funeral to attend, for God's sake, or my kid's graduation, or my Aunt Betsy's son-in-law graduated from Naval Academy, and I needed to go. Whatever it might be. Let's say, for the sake of real life, that I needed a day off, or maybe even 2 or 3 days off. Impossible.
I'll say it right now. If you personally took 3 days off from this game, your alliance would lose their minds.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't take a day off. If you take 1 day off, you will screw over 23 other people. Mm-hmm. And screw over yourself. You miss out on rewards, like profound amount of rewards. There's a lot of you feel FOMO to the extreme, fear of missing out. Not only that, you do miss out, you miss valuable resources, but also if you personally, of 24 people have to log in every day and grind, or you will screw over everyone else. You cannot take a day off from raids. This is my biggest knock on this whole game. Raids are the most awful, most intrusive thing ever, to the point where it feels like a job to get it to log in and play them every day. Now, I've said enough. That just
a score for raids. I know what you're thinking.
Okay, wait. Should we go back to Alliance War? I don't think we. Alliance War. So it's the most fun game mode. It's a 6.5 for me. Because we don't play it enough. You play it very exclusively. Maybe a 7. I'd love to give it a 9, but I can't because there's still so many things wrong with it.
Me personally, because I don't play on such a stressful high level, I'll go 7.5.
Okay, and it's crazy because I love war.
Yeah.
But again, with this game, the only reason I'm saying these things because I love the game. I want it to be better. That's all. I just love the game. It's not even for the sake of like throwing shade at the game because this new thing came out. It's specifically because I just want them to fix it and be better. If the game's not fun, it's like...
Look at it.
Yeah.
This is what passion looks like.
Okay, raids.
2.
The end, 2.
They're terrible.
Yeah. It's not...
Let's do that one first.
And the other thing, raids are the almost... you at the high level, you get assigned a raid lane. You do that same content every day. The same attacks, same. You repeat the same. There's new nuances to it where, except for RNG, and which is typically not in your favor, RNG is never a fun thing when you think about, hey, anytime you use the word RNG, it's never because, hey, some good RNG happened today. It's typically because something bad happened that isn't typical. But normally you go into raids every day with the expectation this is going to be the same as yesterday.
Yeah.
So real-time arena is awful. It used to be my most, believe it or not, when this game mode first came out, it was much different than it was now. There was less requirements. There was like, the way the game was set up, I at sometimes would play this mode for hours in a day. It was fun. I would take it because this is the only game mode that is resource free. You can play it endlessly and there's no cap on how often you can play it. However, in the state of the game now, it is all kill teams, which means you are bringing in the best team. And if you're at the high level game, it's Infinity Watch. And they actually banned Adam Warlock, so you're bringing in now instead of a natural 100% pure Infinity Watch, now you're just bringing in a hybrid Infinity Watch. And what happens is, if there were 10 matches, 7 to 8 of them would be another Infinity Watch doing the same thing. You feel inclined to get your 2, and it's required to at least get 2 in to get your daily requirements. There are daily requirements for everything. You have to play the game or you'll miss out. You get your 2 in, and you feel like, I don't feel excited about playing anymore because I'm going to ultimately be facing the same. Now maybe at the low end where you're being matched up against lesser people with like smaller TCPs, the chances of facing wildly different teams, it's much higher. So you may have more fun in RTA because you're facing different teams all the time because you're not going to face a 750K Infinity Watch.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I do want to hear, based on all that, what do you give RTA? And what's your input?
8.
Oh, so you still really...
All right, this is why. So, because I don't face these super powerful teams that are just, like, out to get you, like, the only thing that does bring me down is when those, like, good meta teams that don't need to be powerful still show up.
Yeah.
But the reason I love this game mode so much is because I can use the characters that I like, not the characters that I need.
Mm-hmm.
So, like...
8, that is your favorite game mode, then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So, like, if I were to play Real-Time Arena right now, I would get sucked into it. And I would play it for another hour.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
You know what's hilarious? Is that I used to give it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do the same thing. But my sucked in would be 6 hours, where I'd play 6 hours straight of RTA.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, it's totally
so
possible.
That should give you some clues to what the problem is with the game at the high level. It's trash at the high level.
Yeah.
At the level he's playing, it's still a blast.
Yeah.
But I have to give it a 2.
I wholeheartedly believe that the way they did Real-Time Arena, minus the difference between low-level and high-level experience, that should be how the entire game is played.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you shouldn't be locked behind the amount of time between anything. Like, I could play Real-Time Arena all day long, and it doesn't matter if I win or lose. I don't lose anything. I don't really gain anything. It's just something to do.
It is just fun.
It's fun.
Okay. So let's close this out real quick because we're specifically talking about Strike Force. Now we're going to go into what is known as the end game, the end game. Okay. We're going to quick speed through this. Dark Dimension 1 is fun-ish. Dark Dimension 2 is fun-ish. I would say 5 just off memory. I haven't played it. I played speed runs on it now, which is not fair assessment. Dark Dimension 3 is absolute trash. It's one of the worst game modes. It is potentially...
That is a 0.
Potentially, yeah, 0. It is that fun. You will sometimes zone in and get wiped.
It's a 0. It's that
it's
fun.
Awful. Dark Dimension 4, they made improvements on it. It's fun-ish. 4 or 5, I don't know. It's better. It's better than Dark Dimension 3. But it's still, at the end of the day, are you really have... Some of the nodes are fun because it really does feel like chess. Like you're figuring... Because if you play it right, you can one-shot the nodes until you get into... There are some that will give you reminiscence of Dark Dimension 3 because there's just some nodes that are still bad in it. But there are some where if you think them through, you can one-shot and beat them and it feels good. So... Because of that, it's a weird score to give it a 5-ish, I guess. I don't know. That being said, that's Marvel Strike Force in a nutshell. At the end of the day, as a whole, I would give the game right now a 4. It is. I have a lot of stock in it. I want it to be better. I would love to have a reason to play this game forever. I hope that they improve it. The reason we're spending as much time talking about this game is because we're passionate about it, and we wish it was the same game that sucked us in when we put all this time into playing it, and resources. For me, it's like real money. I wanted to play this game at the high level, make content, and from a streaming standpoint too. There's when I stream this game, I have to put a lot of filler in because there's a lot of not playing the game. Everything's bottlenecked behind resources. It's very, very difficult to actually even just play the game for the sake of playing the game. So now we're going to segue into Future Revolution. And ironically, this is going to be very, very fast. This game is going to be quick to go through. And the reason as such is, first thing we're going to go to operation. But first is actually the campaign. The campaign. So we talked about the campaigns, which you go through once and then you auto it.
Yeah.
So for this one, the comparable thing to say was your first run through 100 and you complete the game would be like what you do to 3-star all the campaign nodes. Scale of 1 to 10. So the thing with 3-starring in comparison with this game is that once you beat the game, your squad rank is high enough and it gives you an advantage the next time through. Yes. See, as you see here, I'm squad 77. That gives my character some added, the alts all benefit from that score. Yeah. So,
that continues to be a trend the more and more characters that you run.
So the campaign itself, since we're comparing the two, the two things in it is, again, it's apples and completely different game modes, but ironically, similar names. Campaign. Okay, campaign mode. 7.5 for me. maybe even 8. It was very fun. Story was engaging. The side quests are very fluffy though, where there's some of them are good, some of them are not good.
Yeah,
they're side quests. They're whatever. They feel as though they're stuck in there to make the game longer. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
The game itself, through playing through the campaign, was mind-blowingly good. You forget you're playing a mobile game. It's a piece. I feel like I'm playing a AAA PC game. There are little reminders, like if you look at all these tabs and stuff, they try to avoid. They cut corners where they can without taking away from the experience. Like they could make these tabs very digitally, like ooh and ah, but they cut corners with. You will see a lot of the NPCs over and over again with different names, and that's probably to cut down on making the game absolutely massive. So they're very meticulous, though, that they still, that being said, this game still has everything in it, ironically. Campaign, though, 7.5, maybe even an 8. I'm stuck between 7 and 8, so 7.5 feels good.
I have to go with a 6 right now.
Okay.
Because I haven't gotten through the entire campaign yet. So, like, as time goes on, my score goes up. But I haven't come to that, like, climax of the story where, like, I know what's going on, like, and how everything went down. Like, I'm just not there yet.
Okay, and then for the replay value of going through it again, so we're taking all of the characters back through again. We're going to level 100 all of them. So the feeling of, in comparison, Strike Force has the 3-star system where you just hit auto it and you never play the game mode again. With this, you actually do play it, which is, I think, a good thing. But you do have the advantage. Now, playing through it again, is it like your favorite movie? Watching it the second time, it gets better? It's not. The second playthrough, I would give a 5. So I think if you were to take my score of playing it through the first time, that feeling of, wow, they did such a good job, and then replaying it, I don't feel like the experience was just as fun. So I think a collective score of a 6 feels good on the campaign. Because you do play through the same stuff. The intros are all different for every character, though. Yep. They do have their own intros, which are actually really top notch, really good. Okay, so we got the campaign out of the way. Next thing, we're going to go into operations. Blitz feels very redundant. We're going to speed through this. Blitz, compared to the other Blitz, you actually do play this Blitz, though. There isn't a auto feature. However, you do have an auto button. So technically, even though you're still playing the game, once if you're going through trivial content, you can just hit the auto button and your character will go through and do his thing. However, it feels like you're still kind of playing the game, though.
Yeah, the Marvel Strike Force had simulate. Yeah. We have autopilot on this game.
Blitz, it's a 3 or 4 for me.
Okay.
You do it every day. It doesn't feel that different, and it does feel a little grindy now from doing it every day.
I don't do it every day.
Okay.
And I still think Blitz is very fun.
Okay.
But again, that's because I haven't gotten through the storyline yet. Yep. I'm still a lower level.
So at the end of the day, these are as you can see, these are fair.
Yeah.
This is not to throw shade just at Marvel Strike Force. It's to call a duck.
Yeah.
Blitz, I'm gonna stick with my 3. You give it a 5?
I'll give it a 5.
Okay.
Because on the off chance I want to blitz something, it's fun.
Okay. Oops. Most Wanted. I don't really know what you compare this to. I don't know if there is a comparison. You literally go after these 3 different targets every day. You do have to spawn camp on some level. It feels I can't call it fun.
Yeah. No. I agree with that.
It's a 1 or a 2 for me. 1 or 2. It's not fun. 2? 2? I'll go with 2. I'll co-sign. Since you said 2, I'll go with 2. 2. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. It's not fun. I do it anyway because I want the rewards. Yeah. Special ops. These change daily, which I think keeps it sort of fresh.
Yes.
However, you do play these same. They change, however, it's going to feel repetitive after a while on some level. These aren't necessarily a ton of fun either. However, they're more fun than Most Wanted. You do play with other people, which is entertaining.
It is competitive.
Yeah, it is competitive. I'll give it a 4. It's not awful, but it's below average. So I'm going to give it 5 being average. I think 5 is a good benchmark for average. It's a 4. Not
when the mode first unlocked, I would have said 7.
Okay.
Because that was the first instance of competitive play with other players.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll agree between 3 and 4.
Okay, fair. Battle challenges. You can get, these are a progression thing. You can get stuck and then get to a point where you really don't play it anymore throughout the week because the power of your character is really what helps you get through each one. As you can see, I'm stuck on 20 here. I think my character is powerful enough to get through this. And what's my rank right now? That being said, I'm ranked 86th out of everyone. And I do think I can get through the spot where I'm stopped right now. And my rank will go, who knows how far my rank will go up. But it's hard to say that that's fun because it's... you auto all the way up until you get to the difficult ones, then you take over controls, and then it's not it's just a battle you go through and you try to overcome it. Not particularly fun either. So again, this is fair comparisons, and I will give that a 3. I think it's in the middle of the other 2 game modes we talked about. I think that Most Wanted is, or maybe might be more, well, not more, most, or Special Ops, I mean. Special Ops arguably is more fun than battle challenges for me.
I gotta give this a 6.
Okay.
Just because of my personal views on the mechanic of the mode anyway, because I really enjoy, like, those ladder games where it's just,
I'll co-sign on that. Yeah, that's fun.
Like, you want to know how high you can jump.
Yeah, the only thing is, like, once you get to that, you get to the threshold of where it's too challenging to move on, you're done with the game mode until you're able to go back to get better. Yeah. That's good and bad, I guess.
Different viewpoints.
Yeah, which is great. Okay.
Yeah.
So that brings us in operations to the last one, which is raids. There is a daily raid. It is in some of these, it goes in maybe 2 sections until you fight the bad guy. It doesn't feel very raidy, especially. It's funny to compare raid to raid of the 2 games. I almost feel like Marvel Strike Force, after all the ranting I did about Marvel Strike Force, this isn't any better.
This is mechanically the exact same as Blitz.
Yeah. You go in, you kill the bad guy. After a while, you master it. It doesn't change.
Can you blitz with other people?
Yeah, you blitz in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You go in with a full team. You don't have to though.
That's the only difference is that matchmaking for raid.
Yeah, raids, technically you can go in and there is a single player raid where I can go in and just
so there is a difference between blitz and raid.
Well, you can bump up the difficulty and then you get more rewards.
Okay.
So I can solo it or I can bump it up to extreme, go in with a full group and I get better rewards, and then there's ultimate, which is where it's the most challenging. The odds of wiping go up, stuff like that. And it's from that standpoint, when you do play it, I will say this because I have to check myself because I'm about to give it a really low score. There was a night where I was playing, we were playing in a full group over Discord and we were having a lot of fun. And we were doing challenging content like we were doing the ultimate raids. And it was fun. So based on that, I'll give it a 4. I was going to give it a 2. I'll give it a 4. So it has the potential to be fun. Maybe a 5 feels more fair than in saying I was actually having fun. But right now to bang them out, I haven't done them yet today, and I don't want to wait for a group, so I might do the single player ones, and I'll auto those, which is like
meh.
meh. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with a 2 to 4, depending on the circumstance that you have other players.
Yeah. Okay. So then we're finally off to the last one, Omega War. Okay, it should be hard to give out 10s, but this might be my favorite. This is of late my favorite game mode, my favorite part of any game I've played across all games. Omega War is an absolute riot. It is absolute chaos. It is crazy. It's just chaos. It's just absolute bonkers. People flying around. It's just everyone trying to kill each other, and somehow it works. I'm not someone, and this is coming from someone that typically favors PvE over PvP. I'm very much not typically into PvP games. This is mass PvP, and it's an absolute riot. This is a 9, and just for the sake, I was gonna say 9.5, but I'm gonna stick with 9. It's not perfect, but I have jumped, screamed several times through playing the game. It is a lot of fun.
I actually haven't played my first Omega War yet.
Okay. Jury's out then. We'll say.
However, I have had the pleasure of commentating in Omega War and watching Omega Wars, and I believe that I will have a lot of fun in this mode. But because I haven't played it, I can't give it a score.
Yeah. It is the most fun game mode in the game, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Which is fine if you don't think it is. So the next thing is Dimensional Duel, which is ultimately one player versus player, 1 versus 1. There's weekly rankings. I have not played today. I am ranked 62. I haven't played it all. I usually just do my dailies, which is 5 of them. And I will say that, again, I'm not a PvP player by heart, and this is actually a lot of fun. It's still fun. It's a less fun version of Omega War because it's one-on-one. There is some tension to it because it's just you against another player, which adds some I've had some really funny dimensional duels where I've played against friends, where I've met up. There is one in particular that was hilarious because Vrandius, a buddy of mine that I play all the group content with, we were playing at the highest level content, and one night we were done with all of our stuff, and we both happened to be in Dimensional Duel, and we ran into each other, and he knows that I am decked out. So his strategy was, he was playing Doctor Strange, and he was flying around the top of the thing, and I was chasing him. And for whatever reason, this translated into something where we were laughing super, super hard. It was a lot of fun. It's not exceptionally fun where I can feel like I should give it an 8 or 9 score. It is a 7.5 for me. It's still fun, and I feel like it deserves a legitimate score. It's really crazy for me, a PvE player at heart, to say that this game was that much. This game was that much fun. It really is, and I feel like it's even fun when you lose. I don't feel exceptionally like, wow, what a waste of time when I get matched up against somebody that can beat me. I don't. The matches are this quick, and you move on and you go on to the next one. Whereas RTA does not feel. RTA feels, in comparison, I guess RTA would be the closest thing you could compare this to. So RTA would be the comparison that you do to this game mode. RTA sometimes feels like because of the time it takes to you go through matchmaking, the game loads up, and then sometimes you're bottlenecked by the other player not taking a turn, and it puts you on a 180-second timer, and then you hope that he goes within that. So sometimes you're sitting there and you become incredibly frustrated, and you're sitting there. I have gotten some of my most epic screaming at the screen at another player I can't see because of RTA in Marvel Strike Force. It is infuriating because now I'm bottlenecked because some other guy is either trolling me. I don't know why people do this, because you're wasting your time too. And then some people, if either we're in a state where one of us should be autoing, the game's decided, and you can tell that the person is thinking through every move and is really, really dragging the match out. You're not having fun in the game mode already. At least I'm not. And when this is taking, unless it's really validated where the match is actually very close, where I can empathize with, okay, yeah, I would think this through because
then it becomes a game of chess.
Then it becomes a game of chess. But those times when that happens are so far between that most of the time I'm feeling irritated by that. You get matchmaking happens, you load up, and typically the match is over in about a minute. So in the example I gave where somebody was flying around, for whatever reason, when the dodging happens and everybody's jumping around and you're chasing the other player, for whatever reason, that makes it fun. And if the match is longer because of that, you're fine with it. Even if from the point of being the predator or the prey. Because I've been on both sides where I'm chasing someone and also where I'm running away from someone. And for whatever reason, it's fun. And then the match is over typically pretty quickly and you're on to the next one. It's whatever. Yeah. No big deal. And then we get down to Dark Zone, which comparatively would be like comparing Dark Dimension. Dark Zone is, I have limited experience with this. I've zoned into this area a handful of times. As you can see, I only have a target. I've typically been solo or with another player. Every time my friends have been playing, they just happen to be on ahead of time before I got on and they were already in a group. So I went in and just hung out, flew around the zone, picked up these little resources that you can harvest while you're in there. There was one evening where there were a couple Black Widows that were sniping us, and it turned into where it was chaos. We're all talking in Discord, and we were annoyed, but it was funny because it was all new content. And then it turned into us trying to stalk down these Black Widows and kill them. And then we were switching channels because we were trying to do the PvE content. We kept getting interrupted because they wait till we get low health and they come in and snipe us and kill us and the content. It was, at the end of the day, though, it didn't feel like we were wasting our time. It felt like a challenge that we were, like it threw chaos into it that was like,
at the end of the day, it becomes an experience.
Yeah.
Because you get to experience it.
Yeah. So that's all the game modes. I feel like we effectively compared all the game modes to each other. It's obvious that there's a clear-cut winner. Is this the new shiny toy? I argue no. In closing, Marvel Strike Force has a lot of shortcomings that you never feel like is their focus to fix. They just keep throwing new characters at you as that's the new content. The game, I don't believe any of the game modes we've talked about are going to become way better one day. You don't get that feeling like ultimately it's making money on the new characters releasing, and that's the end of the story. That's it. Their score is their score. I would hope that we could someday change that score to an 8 or a 9 because we're having fun again. We can cross our fingers and hope for that. I will continue to play Marvel Strike Force in hopes of that because there's no downside other than I'm wasting my time or I'm not. It's whatever. I'm still inclined to play it. I still have friends there. There's lots of reasons. This game, though, we have to go on potential. And the potential that exists for it, it is the new shiny toy. But I'm having a blast playing it right now. Collectively, because of how much do we wait on the curve? Do we wait Omega War? So Omega War really drives the score up. I feel like as a whole, how much fun I'm having is how I don't think you take the scores together of all the game modes and then average them.
No.
I think you just take a step back and say, as a whole, all of these things collectively put together, how much fun am I having? And rumor has it that there's a bunch more. Rumor has it that this doesn't even scratch the surface. There is tons of new stuff coming, and it's going to supposedly blow everything that's in the game out of the water. Right now, I'm going to give it an 8 because I feel like it's fair. Collectively, I feel eager to play every day instead of like it's a job or it's a hassle. I log in. I'm excited to get in, load the game up, and then just start playing. Playing the game is fun. I'm having fun. It's an 8. There are sometimes it feels grindy. but those times pass quickly, and I'm sucked into playing the game. And I can lose hours, much like we said we used to have with RTA.
Yeah.
That's what this game feels like to me as a whole. Like I can just log in and playing the game, I can just like, next thing you know, hours are gone. So I'm going to give it an 8. What about you?
It's hard. It's harder for me to score it in total because I haven't, like I said, I haven't played everything. Yeah. But as it stands right now, I enjoy the crap out of this game.
Okay.
I'd also give it an 8. It's not perfect.
Yeah, it's not perfect. It is, at the end of the day, it's just a wildly crazy, over-the-top mobile game that you can't believe is an actual mobile. Like, the voice acting is like, how is this a mobile game? They nail the actors. But I will say this, in terms of the potential and what the future holds, like I said, we don't get the feeling from Strikeforce that next month it's going to be way better or anything. It's going to probably be the same. You might even be more irritated next month than you were this month. You don't know. You don't get that vibe like they got your back. They're out for the player experience and that they're going to make it better. This game, though, I feel like they do. They do. Yeah. They're really trying to suck you in with a enjoyable gaming experience. And from rumors, the potential it has. Also, I could play all day today or not play at all, and I'm not hurting anyone. Doesn't slow anyone down. Yeah. There's some alliance rewards that you get from playing, but there's not this feeling of expectation that I get where there's no one I'm screwing over or anything like that, which is huge. I could just not play this game. I've already, by responsibility, had to play a ton of Marvel Strike Force today that was moderately fun. Sometimes it was annoying. It was whatever. This game, I look forward to playing it some more today, but real life is going to happen a little bit, and I'm going to play it when I can, and I'm going to have a lot of fun, and that's the end. Let me know if you feel these scores were fair, if you co-sign on anything we've said about either game, both games, what your opinion is. Did we nail it? Did we get something wrong? Is it fair to compare the two games? At the end of the day, who knows, but this is a hot topic.
I do want to close this out by saying that wise words of Gingy. Whether you like this game or Marvel Strike Force better, at the end of the day, it doesn't make either one of the games better than the other.
Some people, they love turn-based. Yeah, they just love turn-based games, and this type of MMO stuff isn't for them. For me, and that being said, MMOs are for me, but I also do like the turn-based game. I put this much time and passion into Strike Force because I do, at the end of the day, like the game. I just want it to be better, that's all. Yeah. If they make it better, like, holy crap. Like, if it gets better somehow, wow. Yeah. Like, for a soft launch, I do get the feeling. Yeah. I do get the feeling already too. Like, they have our best interests in mind too. So that's a good thing. That's good to feel that. Like, so far, it could be down the road where we feel like customer service is trash. Yeah. But I've never had a good experience with customer service in Scopely. I don't know. We'll see as things played out. These are early impressions at the end of the day of this game compared to a game that we've been playing for a long time. So, let us know what you think, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.